Here we are with the intention of explaining about Indian polity orientation as well as civil services preparation, how we should have the civil services preparation, because you know when we got the results, lot of very much Damal, everything was happened. From this institute we got 13 ranks, that we are very proud of it. In the 13 ranks also, all the 13 ranks are not because of a one day event like mock interview. It's not a one day mock interview. It's a consistent. For every aspirant who got ranks, minimum to minimum 15 days of effort is there from our academy team member. 15 days of effort in their journey, in their contribution. And classroom students, 100% classroom students are 8. 100% 8 classroom students are 8. That I am very proud of as the one of the responsible person of this institute. I am very proud for that. Our hard work or our, yes, 100% hard work. 100% hard work. Why? Because 24/7, any message, any call, we are active. Total team is active. I am active to respond very quickly. Keeping aside family, keeping aside my small daughter, we were very much active, and we got very good results. That is very proud moment. And taking this into action, 2023 we want to generate good results, not ranks I will tell, but good results. Clearing prelims, clearing mains. For that we came up with an innovative idea. I won't tell innovative idea, a genuine idea which is Super 50 batch, which we didn't thought last. After the results we thought that why we have to create, why we need to have this much of things. So we thought that we will be having only 50 students. We will be taking only 50 students, and this 50 students will be writing 2023 prelims. For that 2023 prelims, we will be keeping our genuine of the genuine efforts. Why? Because I will tell you, in my 4 attempts I went to UPSC interview for 3 times. Then I had a public sector undertaking job at the manager level. I had when I was parallelly working for some institute also as a faculty. I thought that I didn't got because there is no proper teacher who is responsible at my time, not now. There might be some, but at my time, or I am not in contact. So because of which I lost some conceptual clarity or some guidance, because of which I lost the rank. Lost the rank. So that mentorship we have to provide every time, 24/7 we have to be active. So that is the reason we came up with this Super 50. So first I will tell you the importance of civil services preparation, why you need to prepare for civil services. In 6 points I will explain you. In 6 points. Number 1, it's about UPSC, a constitutional body is going to recruit you for civil services examination. It is a Union Public Service Commission, the agency which is called as recruitment agency, which is going to recruit you, which is going to help you in getting into IAS, IPS. So Union Public Service Commission is the body, authentic body, without any acquisition, without any error, without any corruption charges, without any nepotism. This particular recruitment agency is working. So genuinely you can prepare with confidence that merit will be the only source to clear the examination. So there will be no corruption or there will be no nepotism, only the merit will be respected. So if you are a genuine person, if you are from downtrodden, if you are socially backward or economically backward, least bother for this particular body called as Union Public Service Commission. So your hard work, if it's genuine hard work, if you are getting merit, then UPSC will respect you with the service. So genuinely you can work. Why? Because the organization is genuine. Number 2, service orientation. Yes, 100% service orientation. If you become a district collector, if you become a district SP, every day, not in the complete service of your job. Every day some or the other person will come for help. Every day some or the old person will come for help. Every day some or the other orphan will come for your help. So if you are doing your duty, it's enough, you are doing help. If you are just doing your duty, it is nothing but you are helping. No need to do extra, just to do your duty. That is called as service. Civil services, you are going to become a civil servant. You are not called as government servant, you are called as civil servant. Civil means civilians, public, general public, people at a lot. You are going to work for the public, you are going to work for the civilians. A very good opportunity where you can directly be in contact with the people, where your actions will directly help you. There is one lady called as Jelly Kirti, which I know very much. She is an IAS officer in Assam now. I remember, right now I remembered. Jelly Kirti, she is an IAS officer, Assam cadre. Recently, 1 month back, huge floods happened in Assam. Before that also, her marriage was been scheduled, COVID time was been there. She abandoned her marriage, she postponed her marriage. Now in Assam, Brahmaputra valley, where the Brahmaputra water is flowing, she went like a common woman and she was been serving. That opportunity will come only to an IAS officer. She was participating in real time. So service orientation, you can serve the civilians, you can serve the public, you can serve the people through civil services. Third, recognition, which is a very, very important thing. Every man want recognition. There is one theory called as Abraham Maslow's theory of needs. Abraham Maslow's theory of needs. In that Abraham Maslow's theory of needs, he will tell there are 5 steps, like physical needs, social needs. He will tell recognition is the most important need. Every man will strive for recognition. I want recognition. People should recognize. You know better than me. If you once get a rank, if you don't tell I don't want to take photo also, they will come and they will knock your door till you open the door. That much recognition is there. The people who hated you, they want to take a selfie with you. The institutions which thrown you out, they will come near you for only one selfie photo. Recognition, huge recognition is possible in only this particular. Why, sir? Why politician is also there, sports is also there? Yes, there are only 3 platforms in India which can provide, 4 platforms which can provide you huge recognition. Number 1, politicians, political industry. Second is cinema industry. Third is sports industry, and the 4th is civil service. So we cannot go into civil services. Why? Because we are not that much good looking. Number 1. Number 2, sports not fit, stomachs are outside. Number 2. Number 3, politician, money is not there. So 4th is what? Only we can study hard. Our family cannot afford sports, our family cannot afford movie, our family cannot afford politics. So what our family can afford? Our family can afford our just expenses for 2 years or 1.5 years. With that expenses of studying full time will lead you to get this ultimate recognition through civil services examination. 4th, privileges and huge respect. Privileges and huge respect. A white car, ambassador car on which a beacon light sound will be making, and you are coming, everyone are watching who is coming. Are this our street boy, street girl, she used to, every day she used to walk here, now she came on white car. Huge recognition, respect, privilege, only possible. Yes, it's only possible. Yes, other fields are there, but this is one field which will create such huge respect for you, as huge privileges for you, which you don't have earlier. Being a common man, only by studying. Contacts will develop. Most important is contacts nowadays. If you have money also, if you don't have proper contact, your money will go, but work will not happen. But if you have one contact, all the works will happen. Contacts will develop. Why? Because you are an IAS officer. So obviously you will have political contacts. Obviously you will have the friends from secretariat. You will be having friends from north block, south block of central sec. Somewhere or the other you will be having the contacts. So works will be done very easily. Contacts will be developed. Why? Because I know what is the importance of contacts. Article 311, the most important. Article 311. What is Article 311? Job security. If I work or not, if I go to office or not, every 30th day, Nowadays, now evaluation, supervision is becoming more, but however Article 311 is there, which guarantees what? Job security is there. Corona came, private sector was been closed. Recession came, private sector was been closed. Something happened, America got cold, America sneezed, India got cold, software downfall at the time of recession. But only one sector which is going to provide the job security is Union Public Service Commission, Staff Selection Commission and State Public Service Commission, not public sector undertakings. Public sector undertakings are not under the ambit of Article 311. So, job security is very, very important. Because of these 6 factors, I can tell that because of these 6 factors, yes, civil services preparation at least for 1 year is a good idea. And when you are committed, when you are honest for yourself, you no need to be honest or sincere for any institute or any person or any mentor. You be honest to yourself, you be genuine to yourself, your preparation is enough. So, this is the reasons why UPSC is a very good platform to prepare and to crack the examination. I gave you the reasons. Next, principles. Okay sir, I decided because of which I am sitting here. Sir, I decided because of which I am sitting here. Tell me something again. Next topic please. Remote change. Next. So, next is principles. What are the principles? You should have commitment, my dear students. Without commitment, nothing can happen in the life. You should be so much dedicated. You should be so much committed for the preparation. You have to forget about Labasana, you should forget about IAS, you should forget about IPS. Why? Because you have to be committed towards subject first. If you get a subject, no, then you will get rank. If you get rank, you will get IAS or IPS. So, first we have to be committed to what? Subject. First you have to be very much committed towards the subject. You should be very much committed towards answer writing practice. You must be very much committed towards studies. If you are this, then you will get the rank. If you get the rank, that people what they will do, they will think about becoming an IAS officer, wearing one of my friend was been there. No, I am just taking an example. One friend was been there, he was also my friend only. So, my friend, I have the right to criticize him. So, I will share with him also this thing. He was preparing with me, he already stitched his police dress and he kept in his home, but he was not studying. That is not the thing. No, what we have to do? We have to study first. So, the commitment towards what? Dedication towards what? Studies. So, you should have commitment, you must have dedication, honest and genuine efforts. As I told you beginning, you have to be honest, you have to be genuine at least for yourselves. Courage, yes. Preparing for civil services need courage. Preparing for civil services is a risk. Why? Because Union Public Service Commission is called as Unpredictable Public Service Commission. Unpredictable, uncertainty is there. So, if you are preparing means you are taking some risk, that I know. Expenses are more, I know. Expenditures are more, I know. Means which some families cannot afford, but still you are taking some risk and you are coming forward. Some risk is there. You are doing courage. Yes, sometimes I am living like this. I want to have a big transformation. I want to change my life. If I want to have a big transformation, then compulsory in life we need to have one change. That change will come when you are courageous, when you are ready to take the risk. Preparing for this exam also required courage. Preparing for this exam also required risk, I am telling you. Blindly follow the mentor. Yes, I am telling you. Before deciding the mentor, think, calculate, discuss with the friends, do lot of inquiry, do lot of research, do lot of brainstorming, talk with everyone, whether I am going to, the person whom I am choose, a person whom I selected as a mentor is a good mentor or not. You do lot of research work, but once you decided, he or she, once you decided, you have to blindly follow. Why? Because it's like something, when you choose on something and you have doubt, then whether you can do the work properly? No. So, before entering only you have to have all the doubts need to be clarified, but once the mentor is been decided, then you have to follow your mentor. It can be a senior, it can be a ranker, it can be a teacher, it can be a friend also, anyone. So, mentor is required. I will tell you, I am the person who believes that coaching is not required, I am the person who believe that coaching is not required, but what is required is a mentor is required. Sir, what is mentor, sir? Mentor is something where a person who is responsible and who is accountable and who is ready to address all your queries at the moment is called as mentorship, is called as mentor. So, if you decided, then you should follow blindly. If these 5 principles are there, apart from consistency, apart from passion, apart from hard work, which I tell CPH, consistent, passionate, hard work. Consistent, you work, some students will be there, one day they will study and 3 days they will take rest. Why you are taking rest? Means that day I studied long back, so I am taking rest. Consistent preparation, passion. Sir, what is passion? Passion means something, whatever we do, we will look through that lenses only. Means if you are going out, you will look through the lenses. If you are watching movie, you will look through the lenses. If you are eating food, you will look through the lenses. What lenses, sir? Civil services lenses. Everything, whatever you do, you have to have the passion, which in English language it is called as obsession. Your complete body should be obsessed with civil services, at least for 1.5 years. In the beginning I am talking about, in the beginning. If you want to crack in the first attempt, at least in the second attempt, you should be obsessed, you should have the passion. Number 3, hard work. There is no substitute for hard work. There is no other meaning, there is no other understanding of hard work. Only one thing, that is hard work. Consistent, passionate hard work. I am telling you openly today, if someone told that, any ranker told that I studied only for 6 hours, yes, it might be correct, but remember that that person might be doing the studying 6 hours only in the 3rd year or 4th year of the preparation. But remember that you are in the 1st year of preparation. Remember that you are in the 2nd year of preparation. In the first 2 years, you should work for 10 hours. When you study for 2 years, 3rd year you will become senior, so 6 hours is enough. But in the beginning, compulsory you have to put work for 10 hours. These are the principles, CPH, which is called as consistent, passionate, hard work. So, UPSC format, you know that, prelims, mains, interview. In prelims, you have 2 papers, general studies, CSAT. In general studies, you have prelims, general studies, you have, it's merit oriented. Why? Because CSAT you have to cross 66.67 out of 200, 80 questions will be there. Each question carries 2.5 marks. June 5th prelims happened. Negative marking will be there, 1/3 negative marking will be there. First they will evaluate your CSAT. If you clear the CSAT, then your GS paper will be evaluated. So, in that GS paper, top 10,000 or top 13,000, according to the ratio of number of posts, they will be selecting to the mains examination. Usually it will be 1:13. Usually it will be 1:13. People will think it is 1:15, but not, it is 1:12 or 13, but most often they are selecting 1:13. For every 1 post, 13 students are writing mains. So, what are the subjects which are there in prelims? You will have Indian polity, you will have Indian economy, you will have Indian geography, you will have Indian history, you will have art and culture, you will have internal security, you will have science and technology, there is disaster management, there is environment and current affairs. International relations, international organizations are part of current affairs. Never think international relations or international events or international organizations are separate topic. No, they are intertwined with current affairs. So, these are the 10 topics. 100 MCQs will be there, 2 marks will be there, 200 marks will be there, 100 questions will be there, 1/3 negative will be there. According to top 1:13, 100 is the best mark, 100 is the safe side. Out of 200, you should think about crossing 100. In this way, there is prelims general studies and CSAT prelims. In CSAT, you are having quantitative aptitude, you are having reasoning, you are having comprehension passages, English comprehension passages, you are having general comprehension passages. My dear students, this is playing major role. This is playing major role. Comprehension passages are playing major role. So you should not neglect it. From the day one onwards, you should have a vision. You should think about prelims, you should think about CSAT, you should think about mains, everything. The thought process should be running at least for 1 year, 1.5 years, maximum 2 years. Maximum 2 years. General studies. When you talk about general studies, paper 1, that is about prelims, which I discussed about. In mains, you are going to have 4 general studies papers, but I will consider general studies papers as 3 and the 4th paper as ethics and general essay. In general studies 1, you are going to have Indian geography, you are going to have Indian society, you are going to have Indian history, you are going to have art and culture, you are going to have world history. In the Indian history itself, post-independence is also part of it. So that means paper 1 GS is divided into 3 modules. One is history, other is geography, other is Indian society. These 3 papers, these 3 modules together constitute GS 1. GS 2, you have Indian polity, you have Indian governance, you have international relations. Indian polity and Indian governance are together we have to do. It is intertwined. Out of 20 questions, GS1, GS2, GS3, 20 questions will be there. Each question will be of 12.5 marks. 20 into 12.5, it is going to be for 250 marks. Mostly international relations questions will be 4 or 5, but these two together will be 15 marks in your mains paper. Indian polity and Indian governance means major chunk of paper is Indian polity and Indian governance, GS2. Then coming to GS3, you have Indian economy, internal security, disaster management, science and technology, environment. These 5 modules are there. Indian economy, 50% of the question paper will be there. Means 10 questions will be there from Indian economy, internal security 2 or 3, disaster management 1 or 2, science and technology 3 or 4, environment 3 or 4 will be there. In this way, Indian economy paper, Indian economy will be 50% of the paper, rest will be 50%. GS1, GS2, GS3, each and every module is important. Disaster management I will neglect, no. Internal security I will neglect, no. World history I will neglect, no. Not a single module should be neglected, each and every module is important. How in our body each and nerve is important, in the same way in UPSC preparation also, when I was preparing, choice was been there. 2009, 2010 choice was been there. Before me more choice was been there, but now all are compulsory questions are not. Any choice is there in general studies? No choice is there in general studies. Means you cannot neglect any module, you cannot neglect any topic, you cannot neglect any subject. GS3, general studies paper for 2 sections. It is divided into 2 sections. One is ethics, other is case studies. If you are a DM, if you are a district magistrate, what you are going to do? If you are a secretary to the Ministry of Education, what you are going to do? If you are a secretary to the Ministry of Defence, what you are going to do? If you are a commissioner to GHMC, or if you are a commissioner to one metropolitan city, what you are going to do? Those all are case studies. I should not take the name, but one of my favorite student 2020 192 who got into IPS now, 2021 again he attempted, he got very good marks in other subjects, but in ethics, only because the person who got 133 in ethics in 2020, he got 86 marks in ethics paper. Only because of ethics he didn't got the rank, an IPS officer already. Means why I am telling this example, because people will neglect ethics. People will think that I am very intelligent, I will do ethics after my clearing prelims. 250 marks. 250 marks. Why they inculcated ethics? Because in the process of preparing for ethics, ethics will develop in us. In the process of preparing for ethics, ethics will develop in us. In this way, general studies 4 is also important. You have to focus from beginning. You have to focus from beginning. General essay paper is there. Last year question paper was general essay was very tough, but people got very good score. So which proved that if the question paper is tough, the marks will be little bit fine. So how the general essay preparation should happen? You should have one national issue, one question will be on economical issue, one question will be on social issue, one international issue, one philosophical issue. one philosophical essay. So, all the national issues, for example, what sanitation, for example, what drinking water, for example, what open defecation free, these all are national issues. Economical issues, indigenization of defense, indigenization of manufacturing sector. Our electronics industries, we are dependent upon which part of the world? Our complete electronics industries, we are not good at electronics. We completely import our TVs, washing machines, fridges from South Korea, from Japan, from China. So, indigenization, yes, economical concept. Social issues, what are social issues? Women issues, gender issues, LGBT issues, disabled issues, senior citizens issues, all issues we need to cover under this. International issues, what is the international issues? Now, once upon a time there is a bipolar world which is Russia and USA. Before that there is unipolar world changed into bipolar world. Now it is what? Multipolar world. So what is this transformation? Why such transformation? Whether the war on Ukraine is nothing but a third world war, so such type of topics we need to have a write-up. It's not about reading. You tell me reading is easy or writing is easy? Which required physical effort, reading or writing? Writing. So people what they want, everyone want comfort. So when everyone want comfort, then what they will do, writing or reading? Reading they will do. Why? Because it's comfort oriented. But marks will come when you do writing. So this all you should not just read, you should practice. I am telling you, those who are aspiring for 2023 prelims mains rank, by the time 2023 mains and 2023 prelims, by 2023 prelims you have to write 20 essays, by 2023 mains you have to write 100 essays by your own pen hand, not copy paste. Minimum to minimum 40 prelims, 100 mains, but by mains you should have 100 essay papers which are written by you. Then you can develop that fluency, then you can develop, the pen will move on very quickly. So don't neglect essay paper also. In this way you are going to have 5 papers, general studies 3 papers, 1, 2, 3, 3 papers, 750 marks, 250, ethics paper 250, essay paper 250, 750, 250, 250, it is 1250 marks you are going to have for general studies. $1250 for general studies, optional also very important. 2 papers will be there for optional. For every paper optional there will be 2 papers. First paper will be called as general, second paper will be called as Indian. For example, public administration, first paper is called as general public administration, second paper is called as Indian public administration. Geography, first paper is called as general geography, second paper is called as Indian geography. If you come to anthropology, first paper is called as general anthropology, second paper is called as Indian anthropology. Anything you take. So optional paper will be for 500, 2 papers will be there. Paper 1 is concept, paper 2 is Indian application. Every paper. Paper 1 is concept, paper 2 is application of concepts on Indian context, that is called as Indian anthropology or Indian geography or Indian administration, it can be any subject. So overall 1250 plus 500, 750, 1750 marks is in your hand, remember this. Why? Because the person who is going to evaluate your paper, he don't know your name, he didn't saw your face, he didn't saw you. So the marks will be given rationally, scientifically, without any bias. Means the mains is controlled by whom? You. Mains is under whose control? Your control. Mains is under your control. Interview, 5 people will be sitting. Something came here, he is asking question. Finish, judgment happened suddenly. Judgment happens means other person, interview is not in your hands, interview is in other person's hands. So interview is 275, so overall it is 225. Why I took this example? Because in your hands 1750 is there. No need to worry about interview from now itself. No need to think about interview from now itself. Interview will happen. First, what is in your hand, you have to do that. What is in your hand as a human being, how much capacity, how much potential you can put, that you have to put where? The mains. First mains, controlled by you. Prelims, little bit controlled by you. Again, prelims all depends upon everything under the sky, but mains, which is prescribed in syllabus, so it is under your control is mains, prelims is not under your control, so more effort is needed for prelims, intellectual capacity is required for mains, interview, let it be, we will see. So 2025 is the final, which will decide not only your future, I am telling you, my dear students. I am telling you, this rank is not yours rank, this rank is your family's rank. Not only you who is going to get the respect, it is your parents who are going to get the respect. I saw with my eyes, lot of students ranks, it is not you who is going to enjoy your rank, but it is your parents who is going to enjoy your rank. It is your family members who is going to enjoy your rank. It is your relatives who is going to have jealous on you. So don't think that only I am working. If you are working means total your family is working. If you are getting the result means not you who are successful, but your family is successful. If you want to make your family successful, yes, work hard. With what? CPH. Consistent, passionate, hard work. When you are studying consistent means sitting, some people sitting in reading room, where I am going reading room. Going reading room, sleeping on the table. Again coming from lunch, where you went? Reading room. Oh, again after lunch, again going to the reading room. 6 o'clock tea time, where you went? Reading room. That is also consistent work, hard work. That is also. So it's about passionate. It should be from inside. It should be from inside. You should deserve. Think about, it's not my hard work. I am working for my family. With this rank, yes, I am telling you, with this rank, your complete family structure, complete equations, complete everything will change. Everything. It will be like this. Pre-corona, post-corona, in the same way it will be like pre-rank and post-rank. The people who didn't give you wedding invitation, they will come to your home for wedding invitation. Why? Because if you come, more 20 people will come. And after coming also, they will think that, for that marriage, who came? Hey, all India rank, 70 rank person came. So these all things will be there. Why I am sharing? Because I had experience. I had seen it through my students' ranks, by others' ranks. It's not yours, it's your family's. So what I am going to discuss now? Okay sir, tell me finally what about Indian polity, my subject. I am going to teach Indian polity. Okay sir, tell me about your qualifications with respect to polity. I did my LLB, law, I did my LLM, and I am a registered advocate at Hyderabad High Court, Bar Council of Hyderabad High Court. So by which it's proved that I have a very good context, I had a very good knowledge on Indian polity. What all you will teach sir? I will teach Indian polity, I will teach Indian governance, I will teach ethics. So tell me sir, why you will teach governance? When I was preparing, 2 optional papers were been there. First optional is Anthropology, second optional is public administration. Public administration means what? Governance. So I have the capacity to teach governance also. Why? Because 3 times I cleared mains. So because of which, hence proved that I can teach Indian governance. 2 optional, second optional is public administration, in which ethics part is also there. Why? Because second administrative reforms commissions and center state relations properly we have to read in governance. So same thing also will be repeating in ethics, because of which 3 subjects I am going to teach, that is Indian polity, Indian governance and ethics. So today is about Indian polity. Today the discussion is about Indian polity, how we have to discuss or how we have to study Indian polity. So after my session, Ashwin, All India rank 235, will be coming onto the stage. He will be explaining his strategy of GS2. Why? Because he got very good marks in GS2. So how to read Indian polity, how to read Indian governance, he will be explaining. Tomorrow you are going to have on Spuran Reddy sir, who did his economics from USA and he is also teaching at various famous institutes across India. He will be teaching economics. His orientation will be there, continued by Prudvi Nath, All India rank 551. He got a very good marks last year in ethics paper. So, he will be giving a outlook how to prepare for ethics paper. Why we had such formula? Because teacher will be explaining from the point of view of concept and ranker will be proving how he got that marks and what you have to do. Why? Because he is the evidence. Ranker is the evidence. That is the reason we have a combo approach. One is faculty, other is rank. So, Indian polity, first how we have to discuss, how we have to start, very basics we have to start. UPSC interview means nothing they will ask very basic things first. Interview, how and what of the constitution, what is constitution, what for constitution, understanding of the constitution. Constitution will make us to understand what? System of central government, federal system, judicial system, system of state government, system of central government, local government, 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, all the constitutional bodies like Election Commission of India, like Union Public Service Commission of India, Union Public Service Commission, like CAG, Comptroller Auditor General of India. How we have to study? Like a table we have to study. What is a table, sir? Like how he is appointed? Simple, 5. For every example I am taking you, how we have to prepare. This example is applicable to everything. 5, in 5 contexts we have to read. Number 1, appointment, how UPSC members are appointed, how CAG is appointed, how Election Commission of India is appointed. Likewise, all the constitutional bodies, their first point should be appointments. Second point should be their powers and functions. What are their powers? What are their functions? Election Commission of India is responsible for conducting elections for all the MLAs and MPs. All the MLAs and MPs and president and vice president elections is conducted by Election Commission of India. Whereas state government, State Election Commission is responsible for conducting elections for MLCs elections as well as local self government, like Panchayati Raj institutions and urban local bodies and MLCs. Wherever the legislative councils are there, their elections are conducted by State Election Commission. In that way, second point should be powers, functions. Powers, functions. Third should be what is their procedure for removal. What is the procedure for their removal? That's it. Fourth, what second is Administrative Reforms Commission told, what second Center State Commission told, what National Commission for Review for the working of the Constitution told. Expert committee recommendations you have to write. Fourth. Fifth, your solution. Your opinion. You read, no? You should have some opinion. Your opinion. I believe that this is the best model. I believe that this is the best model. In this way, you should, every answer should have these 5 dimensions. Your every constitutional body should have these 5 dimensions. Number 1, appointments. Number 2, powers and functions. Number 3, removal. That is also important. Removal. Fourth, expert committee recommendations. It can be Administrative Reforms Commission, it can be Center State Relations Commission, it can be National Commission for Review for the working of the Constitution. Fifth is your opinion. What you understood is important. No, people will forget about this. Your understanding is also important. You might be having some reform. Apart from this, I personally feel that this change is required. Apart from this, there is a lacuna in this, so it need to be implemented properly. Your opinion also important. You know, once upon a time when I was preparing, prelims was factual, mains was analysis, analytical, interview was opinion oriented. Now, with the time, now prelims become analysis, mains became opinion oriented, and interview became exclusive personality oriented, behavior oriented, attitude oriented. So that means when you are preparing for mains, every topic you should have an individual decision. For Election Commission, for UPSC, for CAG, for Attorney General of India, for Supreme Court of India, for High Court, for Governor, for President, for National Emergency, for President's Rule. For every topic you need to have your own opinion. So these 5 things you have to do. Our notes also will follow a standard template. our classroom notes will follow this template: appointments, powers and functions, removal procedures, second center state relations commissions or second administrative reforms commissions, and the fifth is your opinion. You have to generate your opinion, don't by heart, I am telling you. Now you should have your own opinions. In this way, constitutional bodies. Next is non-constitutional bodies. What are non-constitutional bodies? Like CBI is a non-constitutional body. Central Bureau of Investigation is a non-constitutional body. There is a popular slogan or there is a popular saying. What is that popular saying? CBI is a parrot in the cage. CBI is parrot in the cage, means cage is something, what is inside the cage? Parrot. So that cage will be controlled by whom? The parrot keeper. So if I am a parrot keeper, I will catch the cage and I will go, in the cage what is there? Parrot. So whether parrot will be listening to the cage keeper or not. So in the same way, the CBI has become a parrot in the cage. And who is the controller of the government? Central government is the controller. Is it true or false? Is it true or false? So simple, CBI is a parrot in the cage, means everything is controlled by the central government. It might be Enforcement Directorate, it might be the Directorate of Revenue Intelligence, it might be the CBI, at center, at state CID is controlled by. So whether they are acting independently, whether they are acting autonomously or not. If in the central government it is the BJP government, the central government is using these agencies to control non-BJP governments. If Congress government is in the center, it is controlling BJP governments in the state. So because of which the non-constitutional body is also important, such type of questions are expected. Life Insurance Corporation of India, LIC, Life Insurance Corporation of India, recently they opened what? Initial public offer, IPO. People will think that this is economical concept. It is not economical concept, it's a political concept. Why? Because Life Insurance Corporation of India is a statutory body. So whenever it is a statutory body, it should work for the benefit of the people. So when we put in the stock exchange, there is a chance that volatility, my money, insurance money, my premium money which is there with LIC, it is determined by the market forces. If market collapses, I will lose money. So in that way, non-constitutional bodies, what are non-constitutional bodies? Non-constitutional bodies are two bodies are there non-constitutional. One is called as statutory body, other is called as executive body. Statutory body, as I told you, CBI is a statutory body, National Investigation Agency is a statutory body, whereas what are executive bodies? RAW, Research Analysis Wing is a executive body, Niti Aayog is a executive body. What are the functions of Niti Aayog? Who are the members present in the Niti Aayog? What is the difference between erstwhile Planning Commission? In place of Planning Commission, what came? Niti Aayog came. Why they already Planning Commission is there? No. Then what is the requirement of Niti Aayog? What is the difference between Planning Commission and Niti Aayog? What are the powers with Planning Commission? What are the powers with Niti Aayog? Whether Planning Commission is powerful or Niti Aayog is powerful. See, only from two bodies this many questions can be made. So this is most expected topics, constitutional bodies and non-constitutional bodies. Committees and commission recommendation, this is important for governance. Committees and commissions, Second Administrative Reforms Commission, not only Second Administrative Reforms Commission, there is First Administrative Reforms Commission which was started in 1966. Murariji Desai is the chairperson of First Administrative Reforms Commission. Second Administrative Reforms Commission, which started in 2006 by Veerappa Moily. First Center State Relations, which is started by Sarkaria Commission. Second Center State Commission, which is by Punch Commission. National Commission for Review for the Working of the Constitution, Venkatachalaya Commission. Various popular committees and commissions were being constituted to study about the relationship between center and state, means central government and state government. For example, yesterday in Secunderabad railway station, there is a very big mishap happened. There is a very big tragedy happened. What the state government is telling is a mistake of central government. What central government is telling, state government, you didn't send any police, you didn't send any local police, you didn't send any state police, you didn't try to control it, central is it not each throwing stones on each of them? If the proper, it is because of failure of both. It's not only the central government, it is also the failure of state government. So how we have to ensure this center and state good relations? How we can ensure a proper cooperation, coordination between center and state? If something happened in the state, central government will tell that it is because of you. If something happened, the state government will tell that it is because of you. Whether cooperation is there? No. But who is a loser? If there is no cooperation and no coordination, who is going to lose? So, in order to have that relationship, expert committees were being constituted. For example, if state government is not listening to the central government, then what the central government used to do? The central government used to apply president's rule. President rule. No more state government. State government is suspended. Everything will be controlled by the president. Then why you conducted elections? Then why there is a need for chief minister? Then why there is a need for council of minister? So every time, usually according to the discretion of president, they are using president's rule. The very big thing. 1975 to 1977 we had what? Emergency. Whether it's really required to go for emergency in 1975 to 77. So in that way we have to dig the reasons, we have to find the reasons. People will think that polity means if I read Lakshmikant, done, my syllabus has been completed. I will get all India rank 1. Why? Because my Lakshmikant has been completed. Not like that. Application point of view we have to read. Everything is application point of view. Sir, no sir, you tell me Lakshmikant page number, you tell me, I will tell the total sentence, paragraph I will tell, by hearting. 342, third paragraph, wait, I will tell you. It's not like that. If that is the case, then the person who will remember, the person who will recite, the person who can remember everything, he will get the rank, but he cannot analyze. If anything is coming, if a war is coming, then he will read, he will remember, if war is coming, what I have to do in that book, it is there, he will read, but he will not come into action. Application is important, analysis is important, we have to think about it, we have to understand in social, political, economical context. Oh, because of the child labor, what is the social context? Because of child labor, what is the political context? Because of child labor, what is economical context? In different dimensions, we need to understand it. How we can improve the Election Commission of India, how we can improve the UPSC, how we can improve the Attorney General of India, how we can improve the COG and Comptroller and Auditor General of India. These all things we have to understand. Like Banks Board Bureau, prelims question this is. It's a non-constitutional body. Banks Board Bureau, 2021 prelims question. All the constitutional body, if you read all the non-constitutional body, you read 3 questions you will get in prelims. If you read all the constitutional bodies, if you read all the non-constitutional bodies, compulsory 3 questions you will get in your prelims. How and what of the constitution? So if I am going to discuss, as I told you, how and what of the constitution, understanding of the constitution, first my classroom will be like this. How and what of the constitution? First I will explain what is constitution. What is constitution? In the world, for the first time, which country have constitution? In the world, before America, which had constitution? So what is constitution? Why there is a requirement of constitution? Then India, historical background of constitution, like 1773 Regulating Act, 1784, 1793, 1833, 1813, 1853, 1858, 1909, 1919, 1935. These are all the historical background for understanding of evolution of constitution. Historical background. Making of the constitution. Here making of the constitution means who is a president of drafting committee, who is a person who drafted fundamental rights, not like that. Making of the constitution. In the process of making of the constitution, what is the mindset of constitutional makers? For example, I will tell you one example. Really we have to appreciate them. The constitutional makers are so intelligent, they didn't define what is minority, they didn't define who are SCs, they didn't define who are STs. They are very intelligent. Why? Because see, at that time, SCs are those at the 1950s, 1940s. At the time, SCs are those who are suffering with untouchability. If they had defined, scheduled caste is defined according to the constitution, those who are suffering with untouchability, full stop. Now SCs, except some villages, untouchability almost driven out. Untouchability is almost driven out. Then they will lose their SC status. But in people's mind still that discrimination is there. The people are closely moving, but the discrimination is there with regarding scheduled caste. Similarly, scheduled tribe also. Scheduled tribe is a person who is living in forest at that time. Now a scheduled tribe person is also living with the mainstream, but his culture, his way of living is still is maintaining. So that is the intelligence. Minority, if they had defined minority, Hindus will become what in Jammu and Kashmir? So that is the reason they didn't define who are minorities, they didn't define who are SCs, they didn't define STs. If they had defined, it would be fixed, no. If they might define, it would be fixed. So they know that in the future with the time all the SCs or STs or minorities will change. So I will not define it. That is the mindset of the people. We have to catch that point. We have to understand the philosophy of the constitutional makers. Then you can write a mains answer properly. One question is there, 2020 mains question. Write about constitutionalism and constitutionality. Now you tell me, Lakshmikant, you read, you tell me the answer. What is the meaning of constitutionalism? What is the meaning of constitutionality? There is very, very broad meaning is there. 2020 prelims, there is a question, write about committed judiciary. Prelims law, there is one question called as committed judiciary. What is committed judiciary? So these all are, we have to sit and we have to analyze, we have to understand, we have to discuss, we have to go deeper in the subject. Then only we can crack this examination. Making of the constitution, salient features of the constitution. When we go into the salient features of the constitution, we have to understand what is secularism, republic, democracy, universal brotherhood, salient features of the constitution, unitary form of government with federal features. So what are all the salient features of the preamble of the constitution, whether preamble is a part of the constitution or not. Understanding of the constitution, union and its territories, states. Most expected question this is, I will ask you to. In the formation of Telangana state, 2014 question, in the formation of Telangana state or in the formation of the state, central government decision is final. Yes or no? Yes. We will study only according to Article 3. A resolution will be passed by the state assembly and the resolution will be sent to the parliament, and the parliament with the prior approval of the president, they will put the bill of state bifurcation in the parliament. Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha will pass and it will go to the president. When he keep the signature, the state will be formed. But you know, the starting point when the resolution is going from state assembly, when the resolution is going from state assembly for the sake of bifurcation or no bifurcation, central government will not bother about the resolution coming from state assembly. So is it not the central government is acting unilaterally? So when the central government is acting unilaterally with respect to formation of the state, whether there is violation of federal features, means we have to go deeper. So when we study union and its territories, states in Lakshmikant, your preparation is not completed. If you think if your preparation is completed, 100% you are wrong. By reading Lakshmikant, if you think your preparation has been completed, 100% you are wrong. So we have to go deeper, current affairs oriented. Union territories. On what basis Jammu and Kashmir state was been removed, state status was been removed and given union territory status? Yes or no? Recently in Lakshadweep, union territory, lot of issues are happening with respect to administrator. Beef was been banned. The houses which were Muslim houses which were been constructed on the banks of the ocean were being removed, unilaterally they are behaving. So union territory means you should not only understand about the union territory, you should also understand what is happening in the present context. If you are writing mains, UPSC know that this person cleared mains, he read Lakshmikant, so I will not ask questions on Lakshmikant. He cleared prelims means he learned about Lakshmikant, so he will not ask questions on. So what he will ask? He will ask your knowledge. So first we have to understand that. When you understand that, no, then you are in the right path. If you don't understand, no, then compulsory you are fooling yourself. Means, yes, I read this book, my preparation has been completed. No. Fundamental rights, understanding, articles and its explanation, examples, relevant judgment. For every fundamental right, you need to have a judgment. That is the reason 3A, A, B, C, D, E, in this way I will be dealing about. Issues involved in new constitutional amendments like Article 21A, new fundamental rights like Article 21A, status of right to property. So, each fundamental rights, when we entered, we have to do everything about the fundamental rights. Why I am showing this in this format? We have to do the Indian polity. Directive, when you go for directive principles of each article, from Article 36 to 51. From Article 36 to 51, which is liberal intellectual, which is Gandhian, which is socialist ideology, and relevant laws which are made in order to implement directive principles of state policy, relevant judgments, articles, examples, applications, constitutional amendments, fundamental duties, commissions constituted for fundamental duties. Swaran Singh committee is responsible for the formation of fundamental duty, basic structure doctrine, amendment of the constitution under Article 368. So, what is the crux? What is the summary of this particular class or this particular orientation session means? You have to come out of the Lakshmikant. I am not the enemy of Lakshmikant. You have to come out, you have to start reading, you have to start analyzing more, you should link with contemporary, you have to link with the current affairs, then only your preparation is being completed. System of government, we have to go in a chronological way. President of India, Vice President of India, Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, Attorney General of India, Parliament of India, Parliament and Public Finances, Comptroller Auditor General of India, this all together. Again, current context. After understanding President, current context. What is current context with respect to President? Elections, no? Elections. Compulsory this time mains President elections questions will be there. Federal system. What is federal system? Federal system means relationship between the center and the state is called as federalism. The system which is bringing together center and state is called as federal system. Center-state relations is called as federal system. Whether you tell me whether center and state both are in a very good relationship. If you are noticing news articles, when Prime Minister is talking, Arvind Kejriwal was be sitting like this in a video conference. Have you noticed this? When Arvind Kejriwal is, when Prime Minister is talking, Mamata Banerjee will give some punches to Narendra Modi. Means there is no good environment which is existing between the center and the state. What will happen in the long run? Disputes will come. If it goes on, one day what they will ask? We want separate country. We want a separate country. We don't want to be in this country. We will have our own country. Khalistan. You know, Khalistan movement is because of no proper, the triggering point, the birth of Khalistan movement is because of no proper center-state relations. No proper center-state relations, there is Khalistan movement. Center-state relations, interstate relations, emergency provisions, these all are part of federal system. Judiciary, Supreme Court of India, judicial reforms. Judicial reforms. Who is the CJI of India? Who is CJI of Chief Justice of India? N.V. Ramana. N.V. Ramana is a great intellectual. I will tell you common thing which I liked most. I will tell you, big problem is when in a court, see, Saturday and Sunday in central prison, they will not release the inmates, means prisoners. Friday afternoon, if a bail is been granted by the judge, then what will happen? The bail order from the judge to come to the table down, it will take nearly 3 to 4 hours. And by 5 o'clock, this bail order should be posted in the prison gate. Then the prison constable will come and he will take all the bail orders and he will go and he will submit to the superintendent. Then he will remove, and whose all bails came, they will allow. But if 5 minutes is late and if he is keeping his bail order in the check box, if 5 minutes is late, he will not accept. Then how many days he has to be in the jail after getting bail? Saturday and Sunday. Again every day evening 6 o'clock only they will release. Means complete Monday. N.V. Ramana told, why you are going for hard copies, why people are sending the bail order from the top to the bottom, and from the bottom a court constable will come and he will carry and he will go and he will post in the gate. In between, what court constable will tell to this person who got the bail? If father is in the jail, if son is asking for the bail and the son got the bail, then what the court constable will tell? That chai pani, nothing. Chai pani, we have to go that much far. So chai pani, I want something, no. So these all problems were been there. N.V. Ramana, being the Chief Justice of India, understood and he told that in this 21st century, why you are writing letters? Now you have what? Email. You can directly send a mail to central prison and he will download and he will release it. Send the mail from authentic source. Send mail from CJI or any judge from that particular mail account you send. So it's the authentic mail, so obviously will result him. Why they have to wait? Why the order should come? Why this much time need to be spent? Is it not a good reform? 100% good reform it is. So these all reforms you have to write. Judicial reforms, public interest litigation, judicial review, judicial activism, judicial overreach. What is public interest litigation? What is judicial review? What is judicial activism? There is overaction also, which is called a judicial overactivism or overreach. New reforms in judicial system. This is a very good reform. N.V. Ramana is coming up with lot of reforms. N.V. Ramana told that there are courts, high courts, district courts in India which doesn't have proper toilets for women. Then how a woman can come and file a petition? So small things also he gave a very good reforms. You can write all these things. New reforms in judicial systems, everything about high court. What is the power of 32 and 226? What is the difference between 32 and 226? What is that? Constitutional remedies which are given by Supreme Court is called as 32. Constitutional remedies which are given by High Court comes under 226. 123. What is Article 123? Ordinance making power. Usually what the central government is doing, bypassing the parliament and they are making ordinance, they are sending ordinance. 213, governor is passing ordinance. High courts, tribunals, subordinate courts under judiciary. Highly corrupted courts in India are subordinate courts. Highly corrupted. We are thinking only High Court and Supreme Court. No one is thinking about subordinate. But highly corrupted system is subordinate courts. So how to reform this? 2021 mains question this is. First time they asked about subordinate courts. Why? Because highly corrupted is subordinate courts. System of state government, governor role. Governor is acting like agent of central government. Whether he is an agent of central government? No. He is a constitutional head. But governor acts like a agent. Why? Because he is appointed by the center. So how a governor should act? Whether he is appointed by the central government, but still he should act independently. Role of governor, chief minister and state council with examples. Whenever we take the class, everything should be substantiated with example. If you don't have example, that means you don't have the evidence. When you don't have the evidence means whether your argument is strong or weak. So your answers should be argumentative answers. If you are giving a statement and for that statement if there is no example, that means your argument is strong or weak, means weak only, no, means you are failed. Every statement which you give should be substantiated with evidence, and evidence is called as example. State legislature functioning compared with Parliament of India. What are the powers of state legislatures? What are the powers of Parliament? Special provisions for some states. What are the special provisions for some states? Local government. What is Panchayati Raj system? What is municipality? What is rural self-government? What is urban local government? How many different varieties of urban local governance is there? Local governance is there. Very, very important. The big problem is with the Panchayati Raj system and urban local body is finance. They don't have money. State government will not have the money. They will not give the money. So what will happen when if I become a sarpanch of a village, if I don't have any money, how I can develop a village? I should be given money, no, but the state government is not giving the money, the central government is not giving the money. The biggest problem for any local self-government in India is finance. Then state government will advise, Sarpanch, you Panchayat, you have the power to apply tax. You apply tax on your village people and get money. If I am Sarpanch, I apply tax. Extra village tax, 5 rupees per house. 5 rupees only, whether they will pay. For this purpose only we elected you. Chalo, go from here. Why? Because local people, no. So the big problem is finance, local finance. So this we have to understand. What we will think, I read the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, I read the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, done, completed. No. What Finance Commission is telling, what Central Finance Commission is telling, what State Finance Commission is telling, we have to understand from that perspective. Schedule areas, Schedule 5 which is called as tribal areas, which is called as Schedule 6 areas. What are the Schedule 5? What are this Schedule 6? What are this Schedule 5? What are this Schedule 6? These are also local self-government only. For whom? For tribals. We have to understand. In Scheduled 5 areas, how Tribal Advisory Council is working. In Scheduled 6 areas, how Autonomous District Councils is working. What is the governor power in Schedule 5? What is the governor power in Schedule 6? It should be on your fingertip. Then you can clear your mains. Then you can clear your prelims. That means, then how, sir, how to remember? After understanding the subject, you have to make one fine notes. After making fine notes, you have to make one revision notes. And that revision notes you have to read 10 times before mains examination. That revision notes you have to read 10 times before your mains examination. Then you can remember, oh, this is Autonomous District Council, this is Tribal Advisory Council. These are the provisions of 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act, these are 74th Constitutional Amendment Act. So, first thing is you need to have a very good fine notes. Yes, sir, general studies there is no requirement of notes. Who tell you? No. For prelims, for the mains, you should make the notes, and current affairs also you have to add to it. Then what will happen, when you are reading, again you will read only that notes which is prepared by you. You will read only that notes which is a revision notes for you. Constitutional bodies, Election Commission, UPSC, State Public Service Commission, Finance Commission, GST Council, National Commission for SC, National Commission for ST, now National Commission for BC, a constitutional body or a non-constitutional body? Constitutional body. Special Officer for Linguistic Minorities, non-constitutional bodies, committees and commission for this also. Compulsory without understanding the committees and commission recommendations, polity and governance is incomplete. Without reading committees and again everything you should not read. Selective. For president what? For governor what? For ordinance what? Selectively you have to make the notes. non-constitutional bodies. In this way, if you prepare current affairs of complete Indian polity, yes. So, I will tell you how to make a notes. See, topic, first topic should be there, static part you have to write, like what? If you take about UPSC, which article to which article, appointments, as I told you, functions and powers, next removal, then committees and commissions, then what? Your opinion, finished. Your static notes has been completed. This is only for static notes. Next page, current affairs. When you are reading newspaper, what is happening? What is happening in Indian political system? For example, Agnipath scheme. Now, how you have to understand, Agnipath scheme, who has the power to determine recruitment process for defense forces, whether central government, in central government which ministry, in central government which ministry, whether it is a good or negative, it is a good or bad points, positives, negatives, positives, negatives. That is also part of Indian polity only. In the same way, from last 1 year, there is no deputy speaker is been appointed in Maharashtra Assembly. From last 1 year, there is no deputy speaker appointed in Maharashtra Assembly. You tell me, as a convention, speaker is from which party? Ruling party. And deputy speaker is from opposition party. As a convention, what we are following in the parliament as well as in the state assemblies, the speaker is from the ruling party and the deputy speaker is from opposition party. In Maharashtra, who is not appointed? Deputy speaker. By convention, deputy speaker is from which party? Means they are not giving voice to whom? Opposition. So, they are trying to press down what? Opposition party. In democracy, it is wrong or right? So, that much meaning is there in that. That is the reason in prelims we got deputy speaker question, we got or not? 2021 prelims. It was a current affair. So, current affairs means something which we will not read in some institute material or not. When you are reading newspaper, you have to understand, you have to connect it. Why they asked? Oh, Indian polity we can use this. Why they asked? Because it is happened in Maharashtra. So, that connectivity we have to bring. So, what we have to learn, in your teacher, from your mentor or from your place where you are getting classes, you have to understand this connectivity. It is not about what the teacher is teaching and what you are learning, it is about the skill development. It is about the skill development, you have to develop that skill. Oh, he is telling, Acha, this example. So, you have to understand that. So, while I am reading newspaper, anything which comes with respect to speaker and deputy speaker, I will mention in my notes. And you will connect it with the core concept. Democracy is a core concept of our constitution. Hijab, which state? Karnataka, hijab issue. Whether it's a constitutional thing or not a constitutional thing. Whether wearing a hijab, by promoting to wear hijab, while we are opposing, who are opposing wearing hijab, whether we are secular or non-secular. Well, so, wearing hijab is their culture, their religion, their way of living. So, let them continue. But educational institution is promoting what? Equality. So, when you are coming to educational institution, the teacher should not have any opinion on any student by wearing your dress, by seeing your attire. So, what the teacher can behave? Neutrally. Why? Because teacher duty is to behave neutrally. But in a college, if you wear with a hijab, so if I talk about this, then all the issues will come. Then what about turban for Punjab Sikh? You tell him also. Then you should not wear turban. Sikh person should not wear the turban. Everyone should not wear anything. So, this is a very big issue. When in Shabarimala, woman was being allowed by the Kerala High Court, then immediate petition, what you know? In Hajj Dargah, why woman is not allowed? There is a one church in Meghalaya where the women are not allowed. Allow them. We will also allow. So, now whether we are disturbing the honeycomb, so such type of judgments will have, we will think only from the perspective of the day. Then tomorrow, the consequences will, so okay, I will accept the judgment and the woman will be entered into Shabarimala. The next issue will be there. Yes, allowing see, as a teacher, as a faculty, I will discuss that yes, women should be allowed everywhere. But as an administrator, when you are thinking, if I give a judgment to this, the next case will be, the next what will be the next case? Obviously, one person will come and file that. Then you also allow into dargah. You also allow into masjid. You also allow into in Parsi temple, woman is not allowed to enter into the garbhagriha. In Parsi temples, woman is not allowed to enter into the garbh. Allow all the women. When you are allowing into the Hindu temples, you should also allow others. Why? Because the constitutional is the same thing, which is equality. So whether you are disturbing their religious practice, and the Supreme Court of India told that there is something called as essential religious practice. Every religion have an essential religious practice which cannot be disturbed. So they didn't give any judgment, but they put a stay on the judgment of Kerala High Court. So this much deeper meaning will be there for every judgment, for every topic. Why, sir? Every judgment is a evidence for next judgment. Every judgment is evidence for next judgment. So we have to dig into the subject. Why? Because this is UPSC, Union Public Service Commission, the toughest examination, one of the toughest examination in India. How much knowledge, how much skill do you have to be? Without skill, without knowledge, with by hearting, if you become an IAS, IPS, what we can do? How we can apply the knowledge? So understand the depth of the service, understand the depth of the requirement on the job. Dealing with the people, easily you can deal with the people. One person, one attitude. One person, one psychology. One person, one suspension. One suspect. One person, one criminal. Dealing with this many people is, if you are dealing with this many people, means how much intellectual you should have. So that is the reason the examination is great. The preparation also should be great. In this way, we will be dealing about Indian polity in our general classes. Don't think that, most of the negative marking, 2021 Indian economy was very tough, I accept it. But usually, most of the negative marking will be from polity paper. Most of the negative marking. We will think that it is correct, but that will only wrong. One question is the 2021 prelims. Presidential assent is required for which of the following? Before placing in the parliament. Constitutional amendment bill, money bill, states bifurcation bill, like that. We think that we know, but one will be compulsory wrong. So polity is a subject whereby the chance of getting negative mark is very, very high. So very carefully, by making fine notes, by making revision notes, we have to prepare our Indian polity subject. So here, Indian polity, Indian governance and ethics, these three subjects will be taught by me. And I will assure you that Indian polity, Indian governance and ethics, the best will be delivered. Why? Because it's my ambit, I can tell my subject. So others also, the perfect, that we will be having the orientation classes. Now Ashwin, All India rank 235, Indian Police Service Officer, 2021 ranker, August 29th he is going for Labasana. So he will be explaining you with some examples, previous year's questions, how to solve it, how to get proper idea on the Indian polity. So today's 2 to 5 p.m. is exclusively for the polity, so he will be discussing on polity. You can ask any questions to him, but the topic is polity and governance.
Hello, good afternoon. So polity discuss చేశారంట sir subject గురించి. Everyone is comfortable with Telugu or should I talk in only in English? English, huh? Only English. Okay. So sir is done with the syllabus part of polity. So I always say that polity is one subject which you should read or you should learn everything by heart, because there will be at least 10 questions which are coming from polity every year, minimum 10 questions. So these 10 questions are like sure short questions. I am talking about prelims per se, because prelims is becoming more random, right? Like scoring marks in prelims is very difficult. So polity is one section where you can get actually very good marks once you are well prepared with polity. So there will be an average 10 questions will be there in each year's paper. So these 10 questions, you will have to have a fair amount of knowledge about polity. So I will give you some examples and I will say how to read polity. For example, have you seen 2022, have you given 2022 prelims or have you seen the paper, anyone? So there is this one question regarding emergency. Like they asked about what are the special powers for the Lok Sabha. They have given 3 options. First option is regarding like emergency provisions. Can they authorize emergency provisions? So why does this question come in prelims is because it is regarding the Sri Lankan emergency. It happened just before your prelims, 2 months before your prelims. So they will correlate that with the Indian aspect of it, how Indian constitution is working. So like this, you should correlate the examples. So this year, 2023, there will be a probable question regarding president election because in 2 months there is president election. So you should be well aware of president election. You should know how many votes are there for MLA, MP, how is the entire process. Then the second part, they may ask a question regarding compare with the French president election, US president election. These are the things you should expect upon. So here comes your interlinkage between the Hindu paper and the prelims question paper. So then the second part of the prelims, this also I used to say to everybody, I will share it with you also. So prelims is like this. They will not ask you in which direction sun rises because every day sun rises in the east only. They will, if someday sun rises from the west, say for example on June 20 it rises from the west. So prelims they will ask when does sun rise from the west. So like the alternative or those things which does not happen regularly, that will come in prelims paper. So in polity there are some areas which you should definitely read upon, which most of us will neglect. Number 1 is regarding the Schedule 5 and Schedule 6 areas. Like how does the functioning work there? How is the administration there? Because in most places administration works differently. There are more powers for governor. So that is one area you should read upon, Schedule 5, Schedule 6. Even this year they asked a question on Schedule 5. Then the second part is regarding the union territories. Union territories is also one thing which is exceptionally different from other administrative aspects. So then you should focus more upon the fundamental rights. You should learn fundamental rights by heart. Like if I ask you some article, say what is Article 21, you should say what is Article 21. So fundamental rights you should learn by heart before your prelims examination. Then comes the DPSP. DPSP, one, it is very helpful for prelims because they may ask some straightforward question. Like they may say, there is this act called as Maternity Benefit Act. So which provision of constitution does the discuss about the Maternity Benefit Act? So there is one provision article under DPSP which says there should be protection for women who are going to labor. So such things you should read upon. And even the DPSPs are very useful for mains examination. So when you are concluding, your conclusion statement can be one DPSP article. So you will get at least half mark extra. If you can quote one DPSP article or one fundamental right, then your paper will be in a different zone altogether. So these are the things regarding prelims. One, you should be confident about the entire static part of the prelims because most of the questions are repeating and questions will come around 10 to 15 questions. So read the standard book, Lakshmikant. Read Lakshmikant at least 3 or 4 times, repeat it, remember it, revise it. That's it. Polity you will ace through. Then comes the mains part of the examination. So mains, the beauty of the mains is in the syllabus itself. If you see the syllabus of mains, it's more elaborative. Like in prelims, there is only one line, I guess, historic underpinning of constitution and something. It will be in one line only, prelims syllabus. But mains will be around 1.5 page. GS2 only will have around 1.5 page syllabus will be there. So pick up every keyword. So for example, you are doing governance part. So in governance, there are varied topics. Say for example, there is a topic called NGOs. So first line of you should make a notes for every point. So your notes should not breach 1.5 page. It should be like 1.5 page only because in the final exam you'll have time only to write that 1.5 page, right? You'll have only 7 minutes to write answer. Even if you make some beautiful notes of 20 pages, you'll write only 1.5 page of your answer. So prepare notes also for 1.5 page only, right? Logically true. So in such way you prepare your notes. So how should be that 1.5 page? I will discuss with you. So in the first line should be the introduction of the topic. Say for example, you are reading about NGO. So write in the first line what NGO means. Do anyone know what NGO means? That is the extended version. You are saying full form of NGO. Abbreviation ka NGO you are saying. Any definition? So you should search for the definition. There will be some international government organizations like World Bank will give you what NGO mean. So there will be 2-line definition for NGO. Pick up those 2 lines, write in your first introduction part what NGO means. You can even quote, as per World Bank, this is the meaning of NGO. So that you can write. Second part of your notes should be evolution of NGOs. Like how did NGOs evolve in India? What is the first NGO? What is the need for NGO? How did the entire evolution happen? This you can make it in 2 ways. One is the time scale. I used to follow the time scale. For example, in 1960s there is X and Y NGO that had done this work. Then in 2022 there is this NGO. So in that way you make 3 or 4 evolutionary diagrams, like how did it evolve in India. Then comes the body part of your notes. In body part, first you should write about the positives of NGO. There are varied positives of NGO, right? You should write about NGOs are improving the grassroots democracy. They are providing awareness to a lot of people. So there are varied positives of NGOs. Pick up any 4 or 5, make some bullet points. But once you made the bullet points, make a rough mind work, like which you will prioritize first. There will be 10 points. You can't write 10 points in exam, right? You should prioritize 3 or 4 points, which are hard hitting. That should be your task. Take the 10 points from anywhere, but your task should be which 3 points I'll write first. So that should be your task. It should be on your individual dependence. If you can quote something which is very near to you, like for example, when you are at very engaged, someone gave you a scholarship, some NGO. So you can give that as your first point, and you can even quote one example, like such and such NGO is providing scholarship every year somewhere. So you can prioritize which should be your first one. But collect the topics, everyone collects the same content. Here comes the differentiating factor, which you are prioritizing first. That should be your individual motto. This is the first thing. Then any positive thing or anything that is good is happening, always there will be bad. That is how we can maintain balance in the world. So when you are writing about NGOs, find some negatives of NGOs. Like you can write about FCRA, or there are some NGOs which does not file any claims. They are taking up the tax money of government. So there are some varied reports of governments also. There is this report by Intelligence Bureau who says that because of NGOs, there are 2% of our GDP which is lost every year. So NGOs is guzzling all this money. So you quote such authentic sources like IB, CBI reports, so or some MHA report that you do. This thing should be your body part. Then comes the international part of your notes. Here you write some examples of some international NGOs. For example, there will be say some international NGOs. Are you aware of any international NGO? Some famous one, Red Cross. Red Cross is an NGO. Such NGOs you find. You find such NGOs, 3 or 4 NGOs, note down, keep those as examples. Then comes the last part of your notes making, that is the conclusion. So your conclusion should be in such a way, it should be futuristic. If you are a government officer or if you have the entire power in the world, how will you improve the NGOs functioning in our country? This could be from some report or it can be your own imagination. So your conclusion, you think upon the conclusion for 10 to 15 minutes and you are making notes itself. Then it will give the authenticity. You are thinking and you are writing. You are not just writing from somewhere. So in such a way, you should make 1.5 page notes. Once you are done with making your notes, you revise the same notes 3 or 4 times. So you can internalize everything, every fact, every point that you have written, you can internalize everything. So in such a way, make 1.5 pages notes for every subtopic. It may take you time in the starting, but once you are done with your notes making, half of your task is done. Then you should just revise and write more answers. Okay? This should be the main strategy. Whatever stage you are, if you are just beginning your preparation means, first read the entire syllabus, remember some key points, pick up the key point, keep in Google, you will get the points. You just structuralize in the way I said and you make that notes of 1.5 page, keep it in your file. When your exam is very near, revise it, that's it. And the second thing about the mains, the beauty of the mains I would say, it is the repetitive nature of the questions. Like the same question they will ask alternate year. For example, they will ask about right to education, what are the improvements, or right to information. Like the same question will be repeating again and again. If you take the previous year questions, you can see the trend also. For example, there is this chapter called as Citizen Charter in GS to Governance. They will ask for every 3 years. They asked last time in 2018, then in 2021. Then they will ask again in 2024. You find such trends. Then when you are writing exam, you find such trend, you read that and go and write the same answer in your answer sheet. Such thing is possible in mains. So mains, everything is in your hand. You just have to make it unique from others. So just now I read somewhere, prelims is about finding right and wrong, but mains is about writing something relevant. So these should be your motto. Find something relevant regarding the topic. This relevance you can't directly get from the if you are sitting in exam hall and thinking for relevance, you can't get. This should be the thing you should have done in the last 1 year before the examination. You should make notes. Then comes the writing aspect. You should write a lot of tests because you have 180 minutes. You should write 20 questions, which is a very hectic task. You should write at least one question in 9 minutes. Like you should fill at least 2 pages, around 200 words in 9 minutes. We can't even write such fast. So this should come from a lot of practice. So if you are clearing prelims this year, your main motto should take up a test series and prepare for mains examination, giving more and more tests. But if you are if you are joining just now for coaching, or if you are planning to give the year attempt next year, then your task should be take the previous year questions, write one answer a day, any subject. It's polity, geography, or wish. Take it from the previous year questions, write one answer a day, keep it in your file. You will get a collation of some around 1000 questions by the mains time. Then you can just revise those questions. That will be more than enough. You can ace this examination. These were mains aspect. So then comes the aspect of current affairs. So polity is more current affair oriented, but they will not directly ask the current affair aspect itself. Like they will not ask some random article number. Like tomorrow they will not ask you what is article 362 or 360, because it can be an article in constitution, but there is no randomness in UPSC. There is some certain there is some certain reason why they are asking. For example, for the last 2 years they are asking about right to privacy. Why right to privacy is so keen? Why they are so keen on right to privacy? Social media is one thing. Social media is the main thing why right to privacy is becoming a very huge thing, and it has been recognized as fundamental right. So it comes under Article 21. So such things, such unique things which are there, those only they will ask. They will not ask some random number. There is this article called as Article 142. They'll ask this. They are asking this article also. There is something important or unique about this article. Anyone are aware of Article 142? Article 142. So Article 142 is the only article where Supreme Court can give government orders. They can give orders for complete justice. There the judiciary is doing executive work. The balance of power is being disturbed there. So such articles. And then there is an article called Article 75.3 where they are discussing about no content motion. So you should pick up some 10-15 articles which should be at your tip of your tongue, so that you can write good article numbers in your mains answer sheet, and also you can guesswork in the prelims itself. So such things you can do. Then coming to current affairs. So current affairs, you take up one newspaper, read the newspaper, find out some keywords in the newspaper. This should be like if you are starting your preparation just now, the first 2 months you should take the newspaper, you should find some new words which you have never heard of. For example, my first word was sedation. I did not know what sedation means until I started this preparation. After 6 months only I came to know what sedation means. That was my first unique word. So in such a way you find some unique words in your paper which you have never heard of. Then read about it. Read and understand why sedation is so important, or what is the issue of sedation. So in such a way you can take from from the newspaper. Then comes the importance of editorials. Are you reading editorials, anyone? Editorials. So basically I am talking about editorials, right? In Hindu, editorials are very important because there are very dignified people who will be writing. For example, governors will be writing, or some senior IAS officer will be writing. So you'll get varied perspectives. For example, until so many years, like until 1 year, I thought sedation was the bad thing to continue in India. Like I thought it is the antithetical to freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Then I read this article by C. Rajagopalachari, who was once an RBI member, and he wrote one editorial in Hindu once. Then he defended sedation. I don't think it's some IAS officer. He defended the sedation issue. He told sedation is very much important for maintenance of law and order. So you'll get the other perspective also. So in such a way, you can build up the entire recourse around the sedation topic or any topic that you take up. So you should take those perspectives, new perspectives from the editorial articles, and you can write down those. But writing notes is very difficult for newspaper. How anyone can share how you read newspaper? So I can say how to improve upon it. Do anyone read newspaper? Huh? Newspaper చదువుతారా? ఏం చదువుతారు? ఏం పేపర్? Hindu. ఎలా చదువుతారు? How much time you will give to newspaper? 2 hours. What is your, like, how do you read it? Like you'll read the entire paper, or there are some articles you first time చదువుతావు? So newspaper ki 4-5 hours is too much time. 4-5 hours. Starting में it's ideal. The way of reading is ideal. Reading every word and remembering that is a very good way. But giving 4-5 hours will eat up the time for other things which you should prioritize. So make it for 2 hours. So, and I would say don't even make notes also, because it is a very tiring task, first of all. Second thing, you'll have bulky notes. At the end of 1 year, you'll be having this much books of only current affairs, which will not even open again. So you are just wasting your time writing notes. This is my opinion. And you may follow your own way of doing things. That is one thing. Second thing, editorials, you can pick up some very good editorials and keep it as a collection. That you can do from newspapers. Third thing, this can be also one more thing. You can read some institutes compilation after reading newspaper only, because sometimes you may miss something from the newspaper itself. For example, you may read everything, but there will be one small corner, there will be some identity or something which you have discovered, which you would skip. Those things you can find in the compilations. So read the newspaper, don't make notes, read it for 2 hours, prioritize editorials which you are reading, which is coherent to your syllabus. Try to make those editorials and make it a book out of it. Then take up one institute coaching material and revise it. That should be your strategy. So, So this is the polity syllabus. So you see, every word, as I said, is your 1.5 page notes that you should make it out of it. For example, if you are reading formal and informal associations, pressure groups and formal and informal associations. So first you can take up the pressure groups idea. So first you should write what is a pressure group, as I said again. So find out one example of pressure group, then write the evaluation of pressure group. Then you find 2 previous year questions, 2 PYQs, and try to write the answer for those 2 PYQs. This could be one more addition that you can do. In such a way you can find out for each word. For example, there is judiciary and ministries. So you can write about the structure, organization. These all things will be available in Lakshmikant straight away. You can directly write from it. But such things like pressure groups, NGOs, these things you cannot find. So these you should make a notes out. You see this one. This is the most important aspect in GS2. This will be, you will not cover this for prelims. You should definitely do it only for mains. Every word, for example, e-governance. There is one concept called as smart governance. So anyone know the full form of smart? Smart. Transparency, accountability. S ante simple. Your governance should be simple. If it is simple only, people can understand. Second thing can be moral. When you are doing it, should be moral. Morality lies in the constitution. So you should know what is constitutional morality. Then comes A. Governance should be accountable. Then R. Anyone can guess R? Huh? Redressal. Inka? Some? Huh? Real. Huh? Rational. R. Governance, if no government office kellinappudu, what is the first thing you expect government? Huh? Huh? Respect. Huh? 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 Responsive. Responsive. So R means responsive. And T should be transparent. These are the things you expect from a government, right? When you are going to a government office, it should be very simple. All process should be simple. Then you will feel that it should be moral. If there is corruption, you will feel you are being unjustified. Then you feel they should be accountable. Their actions should be held accountable. Then the third, you will be thinking responsive. If they are not responsive, you will never again go to the office again, right? Then it should be transparent. So e-governance is the one way to reach the smart governance. So e-governance has provided the platform. So how these two can be interlinked? So how e-governance is providing smart governance? That can be one direct question. Then you should find out the models. Do you know this Web 2.0, Web 3.0, Web 1.0? Have you ever read about these things? So I'll say it briefly. So Web 1.0 means government will post everything online. Like they'll post their reports, they'll post every document online, but you can't do anything. You can just download it, you can just read it. That is Web 1.0. These are the blogs that we used to write earlier. In 2011, there are various blogs, right? You are just writing. Then comes Web 2.0, where you can interact with the government. But it's two-way, but you can't do, power is still with the government only. Like the things you are doing now, you are booking tickets, IRCTC tickets, or you are raising some complaints. This is Web 2.0. It's two-way communication. Then comes Web 3.0. Web 3.0 is all about decentralization, blockchain technology. Here power is also being distributed. Power will be in your hands. So most of the criticism for e-governance is that we are still in the Web 1.0 only. We are just posting reports, you are just downloading, but the transformation effect is not happening. Like the governance is still the same way, but it had translated into the virtual space, but it does not, it did not transform. So this should be our conclusion. You can write e-governance just translated, but our aim is to transform the governance. Like you should use these words. So these words can be found in ARC reports. So you once read those ARC reports for governance, so you can use those words. Then in limitations you can write, in successes you should find some good examples, case studies. So e-governance, everything from syllabus itself. If you can write these 4 sub-points into one page, your e-governance is done and you will get around 8 marks for 15 marker question, and it's more than good mark. Then comes Citizen Charter. So in Citizen Charter, anyone is aware of what is Citizen Charter? Basically, Citizen Charter, as you said, they will be discussing about what are the services government is providing. Second, what are the citizens expecting? Like for example, you are going to a passport office and you are not taking any 10th class certificate and directly going, give me my passport. You can't get it right. Citizens should bring some of the things. Those things will be mentioned in the Citizen Charter itself. What should citizens bring? Then third thing, once you are going to a government office, charter will say in these many days I will give you the service. For example, if you are going for pension, you will get your pension in 2 days. So that time limit will be there. And the last thing is regarding grievance redressal. Like if he had not given you your pension in 2 days, where to go? So all these things will be mentioned in one chart like this. You can see in every office. Here there will be department ka name. Then here will be vision and mission. Then here there will be services of governance, what citizens are expecting. Then grievance redressal. So these things. Sometimes you also visit some government offices. You can see live action of the things you are reading in your syllabus. Then you can remember more fastly also. As you said, he's saying there are notices in various government officers. So you have seen it, so you are saying it to me. So everyone should see it and you should learn and you can remember faster. Go to some government office, go to post office, deposit some money and come back. Then you can see the Citizen Charter. Then you can also question them why Citizen Charter is not working. Then only you'll become very good citizens, right? Then you can become good officers. First you become good citizens, automatically can transform into good officers. So in such a way you can draw this diagram itself. You can directly draw a Citizen Charter ka box, fill vision, mission and everything and give it to them. You'll get at least 1 mark extra if you are drawing such diagrams. So this is one way to make your notes. Then this thing is very important. This role of civil services in a democracy, you will not get anywhere direct like what is parliament. You can't get answers directly for role of civil services. So you should make it from your own intuition. Like what is civil service, what is its role, how is it improving, have you seen any civil servant who is doing exceptionally well? Such things you should make note of. So this is a very dynamic concept which you should make notes of, and there will be one question every year, one question will come from this topic itself. So try to make very good notes for this role of civil service in democracy. You should write about the positives, negatives and also what is the future of civil services. Do you know who told civil services is the steel frame of India? So only this point they did not elaborate everything. They just gave vulnerable sections. So here comes the elaboration. So you should elaborate like this. You can make this 8 groups. Then the first part, you should find out for example, you are taking women. You should find out the schemes regarding women. So how to make that notes? For example, when you are talking about women, you can follow life cycle approach. Anyone is aware of life cycle approach? Life cycle approach. Anyone? Name lo nandi. What is life cycle? So basically you can make groups. For example, women who are born between like age is 0 to 5 years. Then comes the adolescence 5 to 15. Then comes adults 15 to 45. Then 45 to 60. So you make such 4 groups. So different groups will have different problems. For example, in 0 to 5, there is a problem of infant mortality or feticides. Then in 5 to 15, there are varied malnutrition issues or poor education, poor literacy. Then in 15 to 45, employment is very poor and you can see domestic violence happening in this age group. Then in 45 to 60, you can see most of them are being destitute. Like this can be common for everyone, but the impact on women is very huge. So here comes the role of government. So for every section, government is providing some or the other government scheme. So you can make schemes for 0 to 5 years. What are the schemes that are there? ICDS, PM Asha, like PM Vandana, such schemes are there. You can read about those schemes. Then for 5 to 15 years, there is a scheme called Kishore. There are various schemes that are there. So in such a way, you can make different life cycle, make those government schemes and write those schemes. You should not read entirely deep into that the government schemes for mains, but for prelims, you should read those schemes that are there in news. For example, recent game scheme government the women gurinchi Poshan Abhiyan, Poshan 2.0 is there. Should read what are the targets for Poshan 2.0, what are why Poshan 2.0 is there. Then you should also you should write some data points, right? How I would say more than 50% women in India are anemic. How I am saying this data? I am not saying out of blue. So there are some standard data that you should remember. One is from National Family Health Survey. They will release their data points once in 3 or 4 years. That you should write. Then after this, there is this SCCC 2011. Then you will have census. So you can take data points from these pages and you can make some very good data points. You can throw some examples in such a way to state the ironic situation of it. Like for example, one thing that I used to write, government is spending around 36,000 crores every year on women empowerment or women welfare, but still 50% are anemic. Where is the money going? So this can be your introduction or conclusion. So you can ask about the accountability that is there, or you can write about the ill way in which the scheme is designed. So in such a way you can find such hard-hitting data points and you can quote it. So that can be your task, and the data can be available from these sources. Make one-page notes. One page you can find data points. For women, if you are writing, for 0 to 5 years, what is the malnutrition rate or what is the IMR rate in your, you can even make it more personal. You can find the IMR rate in your district. So this you can even remember also, you can appreciate. For example, in Guntur, I am from Guntur. So in our district, the literacy rate was around 57% for females. So that was very poor. It is under even the national average. So I was thinking, what is the reason for it? So you can personalize the data point also. It is not just a number, there are some people behind the data. So you can empathize with them when you are reading these data points. This can be one way. In the similar way, after women, the most important group that people, they'll ask question is regarding the vulnerable sections, like the SC, ST, minorities. So the problems for both the groups are different. I can't club them also. So first you should read about SCs and then you should write about STs also. But the way in which the protection is provided is similar. If you see, there is one national commission for both of them. Yes or no? There is one national commission for both of them. This is 338, this is 338A. Then there is one organization which provides funding, like they'll get money. Financial Development Corporation will be there, FDC. For SCs it is there, for STs it is there. Then we are providing scholarship for both SCs and STs. So that is also similar. So in such a way, find some similarities so that you need not remember the same thing twice. Remember it once and use it for both the things. So in such a way, you find out what are the schemes for SCs and STs. So that is second priority for you. Third should be senior citizens. Can you say why senior citizens is the next big question that may come in the next 2 to 3 years? Senior citizen question will be repeating. Why? Population will be? Demography dividend is shifting towards senior citizens. So the schemes that we are going to see are more for senior citizens. So the problems for senior citizens are also completely different. For male, the problems are in one way. For females, the problem is in another way. Like you should find the differentiating factor between both of them, and there will be some common problems also. All these things you should read and you should appreciate the data points and make a notes for senior citizens. So these are the three things. And then the new government, the BJP government, is focusing more on the persons with disability also. There is some Right to Persons with Disability Act of 2016 where there is a reservation aspect. So such unique laws you can bring upon. There is this FRA Act for STs, Anthropology students may know. And then there is this SC/ST Atrocities Act. So such acts are unique to only these communities that you should read and you should understand why those acts are kept, what is the protection that is provided. This is the thing that is there. The vulnerable section is done. Then this part, performance of the schemes. How we do evaluate the performance? Outcomes. How will you evaluate? Like, what are your parameters to evaluate? For example, I will ask you, is MG Narega a success or failure? Yes and our who told us? Why? Two? How do you know that fact? Have you visited some MG Narega camp center? So there are, if you have visited it, you can code it also. That is very good. Or else you can see the outcome budget. There is one budget called outcome budget, in which they will be providing the outcome of varied schemes. For example, MG Narega is the most successful scheme that we know of. So you can quote, in this year, every state government had provided 100 days of work to like every member who had demanded the work. So that fact will be from outcome budget. So in such a way, then there are some annual reports that will be there. So PIB will release annual reports. Year end, after budget, they'll be releasing annual reports. In that annual report, they'll analyze the aspects. For example, they'll read the Ministry of Science and Technology annual report and they'll say, they have given 13,000 crores to Department of Space. So in that they have used 10,000 crores for this and the returns are this. In such a way, the annual report will be there. From that, you can analyze the performance of various schemes, where the money is going, how the money is coming back to the government. Such performances you can write. Then one more thing I thought of saying to, I will say it now. So for vulnerable sections, I told regarding the life cycle approach, right? Each age group. Then there is second approach that you can follow. In that approach, first you should find out what are the laws that are there. There will be some laws that are there for the specific vulnerable section. As I said, the FRA Act or the SC/ST Atrocities Act that are there for the protection of the vulnerable section. Second will be one policy that will be there. There is, in India, there is a policy for old age population also, NPOP. So you should know the basics of the policy. In the policy, there will be two things. One thing is the final outcome. Like, have you read the NEP? New Education Policy. So their final goal is to increase the enrollment ratio from 35% to 50% in higher education, 100% enrollment ratio in primary schools. Such there will be some final outcomes that every policy will provide. So you should find out those final policies for vulnerable sections. What is our policy for old age people? What is our policy for the persons with disability? Then second thing, they will provide the means also. For example, in NEP, they are saying you should increase the enrollment ratio from 35% to 50%. What is the way to increase it? One way is to giving more funding to education. So they are saying increase the funding from 3% to 6%. Then the second thing they are saying, club varied colleges provide them entry exit options so that they can go and read whenever they are interested upon. So these are the means to achieve that goal. So in same way, every policy will have final goal and some means. So for each vulnerable section, find out such policy and what are their means and goal outcomes. Then the third thing is the institutions. For women, there is NCW. For SCs and STs, there is NCSC, NCST. So such institutions are there. So that thing you should learn. Then the fourth is regarding international. So in international, we'll be having some seminars or some institutions that are there which will be discussing about the SCSTs. For example, when you are talking about the tribals, then there is this concept called as indigenous group in the Americans, where they are discriminated, they are provided the affirmative action. So you should understand what is the affirmative action that is given to them and what is the reservation system, what is the difference between both of them. So in such a way, you can make notes in these dimensions also. One is the life cycle approach, second is this approach. You can make the notes for vulnerable section in this way. This thing you should read upon quasi-judicial bodies. What is quasi? Does anyone know what is the meaning of quasi? Partial. Complete and not judiciary, not executive. Something between both these things. So there are two articles, 323A and 323B for tribunals. So you should read upon these two articles. In that I said earlier, right, something will be exception from other things like the schedule for schedule 6. These two articles 323 and 323B are one such exemption from others also. So what is the difference between these two also you should understand. These two are not similar. Both of them have very difference. So appreciate that difference also. And this is one topic you should read upon. Then we will see some questions. So this question is from 2022 only. So I always say that if you can master prelims like polity, then in prelims you will at least get, out of 10 you will get at least 8 correct. So some questions I bought. This question is one of the easiest questions. So such questions you should not go wrong. You should attempt it and you should get it correct also. So the question is regarding the bill amending constitution requires a prior recommendation of the president. Is it needed? Huh? Yes or no? No? Huh? Which bills need prior recommendation? Yep. So if you can strike this out, you will get your answer as 2 and 3. So it's simple. You don't need to read these also. But even if you read also, it is more or less correct only. So this is one thing. And I also wrote why this question came in news, because there is a ST and SC reservation extension bill that had happened last year. So there is a very huge furor where they have removed the Anglo-Indians reservation, like they stopped Anglo-Indians seats reservation in parliament. So then there is a discussion regarding the entire process of amendment itself. Is it in the right way or wrong way? Then there is a huge discussion regarding the amendment process. So direct question from there. So second question. So this is the question that I discussed earlier. What are the exclusive powers of Lok Sabha? Anyone? Do they have the power to ratify the declaration of emergency? Huh? Huh? Only? Only 2 is the right answer. So this question is regarding Sri Lankan emergency that is there in news. You should read about Indian emergency provisions. So from there they asked, and this no confidence motion, there are some states which had passed no confidence during the last 3 or 4 months. Varied governments has passed this thing, but it had failed. And second is regarding the impeachment of president. Do anyone know why this came in news? Impeachment. This from Sri Lanka? From which country is this part of question asked? Huh? Before that? Pakistan is more like no confidence motion. Adi Prime Minister. President happened from one of the biggest countries. UK president unnadu, Prime Minister Crown. France election jarigindi president. One more. Fail ayindi. Trump impeachment. Donald Trump USA. Which had terribly failed, which came into news, the entire news. So you should read about the impeachment of President of India. So if there is some big news that is happening, try to read it in Indian terms. So that is there. From that only they will ask questions. So this is the way you should read. Again, 5th schedule. As I told, there are some things which are very much exception from other things. So one is 5th schedule. So here what is the answer? Yeah. Okay. So this is the answer. This is which? Is there any article number for this or some amendment that you can remember? Okay. Then this thing, is there any provision in constitution? Next. This special category status, is there anything in constitution? Anything more? And that's it. Planning commission only, because most of the states are asking this special status. They are just given it. So right to privacy. This I already told. Article 21. There is one more thing that you can remember. If you don't know any article, like there is something which you haven't read of. For example, right to marriage, right to privacy. Article 21. Because it is one of the biggest article, which is more accommodative. It is about right to life and liberty. Everything can come under right to life, right to shelter, right to good food. Everything comes under Article 21. This is one thing you can, if you don't know anything, this can be your blind guess. You can get around 70% accuracy if it's one thing. Then this thing. Anyone can say the answer for this thing? Answer kinda answer. So answer B. So there are some amendments in Constitution which you should remember. First is the first amendment. Then comes 42nd, 44, 52, 69, 73, 74, 91, 87 or 86, then 97, then 99 to 105. So these amendments you should remember, and 24 also. 24/7. You should remember what are all these amendments and why these amendments are done. You should read at least once entire thing. If you don't read anything also, read this 42nd amendment. It is called as mini constitution. So this thing is most important. 42 and 44, read it in combination. Then you can appreciate the greatness of our Indian democracy, how Indian democracy survived. These two are the cornerstones. Read 42nd and 44th. Then you should definitely read the preamble. There are some cases regarding preamble also, 3 cases if I am right. So I read about those cases regarding preamble. Then there are some standard cases that are there. Supreme Court judgments. Say some 2 or 3. Kesananda Bharati. Shreya Singhal. Indira Sane. Next. Puttaswamy. Next. Golaknath. Golaknath is in everything comes under Kesananda Bharati. Next. Minara Mills. Next. Recent GST da. Inka some landmark. So there is one more thing also I thought of. I'll say no. So how will you read some point? Why are you focusing on only that thing? So there will be turning point in every government or every country. There will be some turning point which is called as inflection point. And before that everything used to happen in one way. After this thing came, everything will be changed. So those inflection points are also very important. For example, GST. Everything before GST is so haphazard, like everything is so divided and everything. So GST, everything had changed. Something unity had come over and every process had become transformed. So there will be some inflection points. This is not only for polity, it is more important for history. When you are reading history, history is very difficult. Which points to focus upon? Then you should focus upon the inflection points. For example, non-cooperation movement is an inflection point. Everything happened before that is one direction, then later everything happened in different direction. Quit India movement. So such inflection points you should focus upon. Now in polity, history, in every subject, find such inflection points. Even science and technology. In science and technology, there is this day when ISRO had launched 111 satellites. So from that day, everything had changed. ISRO had come into the race of superpowers. So that is the inflection point of ISRO. So in such a way, there will be some points which you should recognize in your course of entire 1 year or 1.5 years. You will read such inflection points, remember those inflection points, analyze how it used to be earlier, how it is being done now. So these judgments are such inflection points. So if these judgments are not there, the democracy that you are seeing today may be in a different form. So such important are these case judgments. So remember these judgments. And every judgment will have some evolution. This is the final judgment that I have written here. For example, Indira Sanve, there are various judgments after this. V. Chennaiya, then there is this recently, 2008, Jarnail Singh, regarding reservation. In such a way, there is some evolution in judgments also. Try to find it out, what is evolution. These all comes from your own interest only. You can't get it directly from notes. So this thing is done. So these are the last year questions. So if you can see, constitutional morality. When I am talking about smart governance, I use this word as constitutional morality. So they are directly asked in the question itself. So you should write what constitutional morality is and what are the facets. This came from the first part. Then this question is from the women. When you are writing about life cycle, you should focus upon women in politics. So the question is regarding what is the positive thing that may happen due to high representation. So vulnerable sections. Then came the question regarding 14th Finance Commission. This is a bouncer. I would say write something in 15th Finance Commission and link it up. Because no one reads for 14th Finance Commission because it's more than 4 years old. This one bouncer. Then the next thing is regarding the parliament. So here they are asking about how they are ensuring accountability of executives. So here you can write about no confidence motions, various motions, bills, committees. Keep subheading, write all these things. Then comes pressure groups. Pressure groups is a repeating theme. Alternate year pressure group question will come. Make notes for pressure groups. Then comes the welfare state. So in welfare state, they are focusing only 2 things. One is health, second is sustainable development. So how welfare state will cope on these 2 things. You are having notes also for welfare state, you will directly get from Lakshmikant only. But pick those points regarding health and sustainable development and use it in your answer. Then comes this act is very important. Very important. There will be 2 acts, 1950 and 51. Mains every year there will be one question. Every year one question directly from this act only. There are only some very good sections also. I think section 7 is regarding corrupt officers. So there will be 3 or 4 sections from these 2 acts. This is there in Lakshmikant. You will skip it for prelims but read for mains. It's only some 6 or 7 pages. Very important. Then came this amendments to RTI Act. RTI is one thing which I already told, which will be repeating theme. Next year also you can expect something from RTI. So here RTI you can write what are the amendments and what are the issues regarding this thing. Then comes this part. What is federation? Anyone? State power is? Huh? Correct? Okay. India is a federation? Quasi federation. Who told it? Casey Ware. So there is this these 3 terms: cooperation, competition, and confrontation. So keep one side heading cooperation. Where did you see cooperation in federation? One very good example, finest example. Huh? GST Council. Important. What did you say? So where did you see the competition? Competition in federation between states or between center and state? Huh? Huh? NEET aspirational district program. Everything is regarding competition. SDG goals, SDG index. Swachh Sarvekshana Abhiyans, everything. Competition. Then confrontation. One fine example of confrontation. Huh? Governor, current affairs. One thing that happened during COVID, huge confrontation happened. GST compensation cess. This is the thing why they asked regarding this thing. Because how will you compensate the GST losses? So is one thing. So you should cite recent examples. Not the examples that are old enough, but 2 to 3 years is the recent thing that you should quote upon. Next thing is regarding the judiciary system in India and UK. So this thing is from the first part. So in the first part there is this comparison of constitution, one subheading. So here you can focus first upon the big democracies. So big democracies are US, UK, France. These 3. Compare legislative, executive, judiciary for these 3 countries. Then there will be some countries from which India had taken some provisions. For example, from South Africa what they have taken, from Ireland, then from Australia what they have taken. Such countries, you note down the things that India have taken from them and how it is working in that country and how it is working in India. For example, there is directive principles from Ireland. So you should write how Ireland's directive principles are working and how ours are working today. So your notes should be in that direction. Then you can easily write this answer. What are the judicial systems in India and UK? Because you are already prepared for US, UK and France. And then there are some countries, quasi-democratic or China, Russia. You should find out the structure of how president election is happening, parliament election is happening, parliament elections, what are the changes that are there. Because these are the very big countries that are there and these are the big players in Asia also. So when you are aspiring to become an Asian superpower, you should understand how these countries are functioning. So this should be your target. First should be for big democracies, US, UK, France. Then from those, what we have taken, South Africa and others. Then the other things like the China and Russia, biggest countries in Asia. So then you can write the last question. Do you know from which country is this line adopted? There is this one country. This is true. This is not true for India, but this is true from one country. Anyone can guess it out? Once a speaker, always a speaker. It is one big democratic country only. Huh? USA, no? Once a speaker, always a speaker. Even most of the countries are asking, most of members in India are also asking for this thing. We have historic connections with this country also. UK. In UK, if I am the speaker, then no one will contest against me. I will be the speaker till I am dead. So speaker will be, no, why this thing is being followed? Neutral. Speaker will be impartial and neutral. Then most of the issues can be addressed, like the anti-defection that is there in India, which there are huge delays, money bill issue. So most of the people are asking to have such a concept, once a speaker, always a speaker. So I should write how this thing is there in UK and how it is functioning. Then you can write about how it will impart objectivity and what could be its implications. So these are the keywords that are there in the answer. Once you are writing the body, you can say the introduction for this, how UKS is functioning, your introduction is done. Then you should say how it can impart objectivity, the second part of the question. Then the last part is regarding the implications. So 3 parts of the question you are addressing, so no part is left unaddressed. Then you can conclude by saying whether you are interested in having one speaker or should there be a competition for speaker also. Will it be any positive to continue the same model? This should be your conclusion. This should be the structure of your answer. Then comes the this thing, healthcare. There are some areas which you should make notes of: health, education. These 2 things holistically, like every subgroup, everything, how much money government is spending, whether it is in state or central list, and why so much interest is given to these 2 things. Then you can write the answer for this thing. And this thing came because of the COVID-19 pandemic also, because there are more lifestyle issues that are coming after COVID-19, and there are issues regarding maternal health also. So this thing is there. Then this question is very important, because you can't get directly from the answer sheet. You should make the answer for this role of civil services. Once you are done with role, then you should write about the reforms. Then the first reform you should directly mention is regarding Mission Karma Yogi. That is there. In such a way, you should write some reforms. Then there are some reforms in ARC 2.0. You are aware of ARC, right? I am just using this term randomly. Administrative Reforms Commission, there are some 10 to 11 reports. Read some 3 or 4 reports. One is regarding the RTI, the master key to the governance. Then there is one regarding the local self-governance. Then there is one regarding the citizen charter and the administrative aspect. There is this model called as Sevottam. Seva in its highest quality, it seems. This depends upon 3 pillars. One is citizen charter, one is the good institutions, third is good grievance redressal. So if you can provide these 3 things, then the good governance is established. So when you are writing a question on governance, your conclusion can be, you should focus upon improving the Sevottam model. This should be your conclusion. Then the last thing, how does the emergence of 4th industrial revolution initiated e-governance? Web 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, which you already discussed. Write it and write some examples for each e-governance aspect. So mostly I covered the entire topic in holistically. Now we may ask some doubts. When you are reading the comparison between constitutions, US, UK, this thing is there, right? When you are reading,
you barely added the notes, sir?
No, when you are reading regarding the comparison of various countries, constant comparison, you will be reading about legislature, executive and judiciary, right? In legislature there will be parliament head ka speaker. So you will compare both of these things. When you are reading only, you will do this thing. So you will know what is the difference. You will get directly from any notes you read the comparison, you can find in this way only. And even last year, this term was used frequently in editorials also, because speaker came under light, right? Because of the delays in anti-defection, money bill issue, because then the office of speaker was under limelight for so much time. So some editorials discussed regarding this topic also. There comes current affairs importance. You can write Union Rastas and anything. I used to write Government of India. Government of India, GOI. So basically, two things gurtupeట్టుకోవాలి. One is the recent 2 or 3 schemes. In the earlier, which are most successful. For example, ICDS is one thing which is most successful. Like for each section, find out one most successful scheme that you should read upon. These are the 2 things. Current affairs, but you should read current affairs, because sometimes they may directly ask current affairs only, direct. They may give you some scheme name, explain. For example, I think Portion Abhiyan was asked in 2019, I guess, 2019 or 18. So in such way they can directly ask.
What if it is a bouncer?
A bouncer, you should attempt it, but don't give much time to it. Like give it 3 or 4 minutes. There will be some keywords. For example, I may say this question is a bouncer. You don't know, once a speaker, always a speaker. This thing you don't know anything. But you know that this is not the case with India, right? Speaker will be changing. So this is one novel idea that UPSC is giving to you. You don't write about UK also. You directly write about whether this will provide objectivity or not. So that part of the question is done. Then does it have any positive implication if it is implemented to India? So in such a way, even if you don't know anything, try to correlate with the question itself. And for 14th Finance Commission, this is one biggest bouncer. I wrote regarding the 15th Finance Commission and changed the numbers frequently. Like some numbers I changed. I think I would get only half mark for that question. I wrote such bad, but I wrote. You also write something. Because you have read about 15th Finance Commission, right? You know how it functions, what are its recommendations. So even 14th Finance Commission will be on the same lines. But these are the things you should write only when it's a bouncer. If you don't know anything, only you should write. But don't write the same for everything. You should read and go. These are some things that you should write when there is a bouncer. You are asking something. Monthly compliance are good. One more thing. Between prelims and mains, there will be 3 months, right? Once you are done with your prelims, there will be 3 months. So current affairs from these 3 months are very important. Most of the questions will be coming from these 3 months only for mains examination. So for these 3 months, try to read monthly magazine, any one monthly magazine, because in most monthly magazines, I used to see that the topic will be covered in such a way as a mains answer only. They will give you one introduction. In body part, they will give you some side points for 3 or 4, positive, negative, then they will conclude. So take one topic, read the compilation, like monthly magazine. So between these 3 months, you should focus upon monthly magazine only. Even before also, monthly magazine is good. But in these 3 months, try to read newspaper daily and try to read the compilation like religiously. Don't skip it. And I may sidetrack. If in between these 3 months, if you see any disaster, for example, if there is some flash flood or some cyclone, that will come in your examination. Or if there are some industrial disasters that are happening between these 3 months, that will come into your examination. So these 3 months, everything happening around you can be a probable question for your examination. So read the topic also in the same sense. You should read newspaper. Then only you will get the habit of reading, understanding, analyzing everything. Then you will get new perspectives. Okay, thank you so much. If there are any more doubts, you can ask even now also.